All right, everybody. As you can see, I am not Chop, but I am Tattoo here with you with the one and only, the greatest of all time, the legend, Raz GPT. Merch available in the store, in the description. But huge slate today. Some slight technical difficulties, but Raz is going to guide you to the gold. So, how you doing today, Raz?
I'm doing well. Second live show of the day.
Yeah, I saw you.
Switch from my water to a Mountain Dew. So trying to stay awake after having some nice chicken fried rice and egg rolls
that
for
sounds
a late
good.
lunch. So I hit a wall so far, but now's the time we need to figure out our MLB lineups. A lot of lineups popping through. I'm getting notifications left and right. So.
Well, I don't think we have any weather, it looks like, to be concerned with.
No, just some warmer games in the Midwest again.
Yeah.
I guess the warmest games. I shouldn't call them warmer. They're still, only in the mid-80s? Mid to upper 80s, I guess. Minnesota, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Chicago. All the warmest games of the day.
Well, at least our Carnage report shows up a little better.
Yeah, that'll work. You don't really need to see the price points anyways on the left.
Yeah.
So.
Price shouldn't matter to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to admit it that I really never look at the Carnage report, but it's just because I'm glued to my own research strategy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, same thing. It's no disrespect to the Carnage report, but I'm gathering information from so many places. So.
Right.
I've kind of got my routine, and that's what I do. So.
Which, by looking at the Carnage report, is going to tell me that I'm an idiot for fading one pitcher. And that pitcher is going to be Brandon Woodruff. Yeah. I don't really know that his K score should be that strong since the Mets don't strike out all that much. And I do realize the Mets have kind of struggled of late, but still, I think his upside's capped a little bit more than the other expensive pitchers. So I needed to fade somebody, and it ended up being Woodruff.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta make a stand somewhere. Can't play everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy to get down to 10 pitchers today. I would like to get down to 8 or 9. Which could still happen. Still going to run my numbers, but I mean, everybody just has to play Scooble.
Yeah.
If you're fading Scooble, I think it's just you're doing it to be dumb, not to be smart.
Try to be too fucking cute.
Yeah, there's fade to be mathematically correct, and then there's fade to just be stupid and make mistakes. Yeah. And I think fading Scooble is a mistake. Now, if you're building one lineup, yeah, you can fade anybody in one single lineup, but you're running 20 plus or actually 10 plus, like you just shouldn't be fading Scooble.
I mean, he has a 80.1% chance of hitting over 8 Ks.
Yeah. Elite K matchup. The Angels over the last week, I looked at these numbers, are striking out over 30% of the time. On the season, the full season numbers against left-handed pitching, 28.5% K rate. Just don't overthink it. Like, if you think that there's a chance that he fails, rather than fading him in your run, just add in a couple Angel stacks, I guess. I'm not doing it, but you can certainly do that.
Yeah, I would say whatever lineup he's not in, throw some in there. Run a couple.
Yeah,
I think that's near lock.
I'm only using them as mini stack is all I am.
Yeah.
And even then, because of how much I like Scooble and everything, like they're only going to be a 1 or 2% mini stack in my run. So like I'm going to get a few, and that's it. It's ironic that I'm fading 2 of the top 3 pitchers on the Carnage report. Drew Rasmussen, basically just because of his pitch count numbers.
Yeah.
Even though he's gone 6 innings or roughly 6 innings, they still haven't really let him go much past 80 pitches. So it's a way for them to limit his innings yet. So I just couldn't get there on a 14-game slate. I don't really want pitchers in my pool that are being limited in any way.
Yeah. Not for that. No.
I mean, like the rest of the pitchers, we have a bunch of names, right? That we do want exposure to at times. I struggle with trusting Luis Castillo, but he's at home. Problem is Tampa Bay can be very left-hand heavy, and that can be an issue for Castillo. But his numbers at home are phenomenal. Tampa Bay's numbers on the road are poor. So, like, those two things line up to where I just have to kind of close my eyes and roll with Castillo. I think Pivetta is my second favorite pitcher outside of Skubal. Boston obviously has scored some runs recently, but that ISO matchup, looking at the Carnage report, really strong. Plenty of K upside, and him pitching at home is pretty strong.
Yeah.
His numbers in San Diego are phenomenal.
Just a great, good pitcher's ballpark.
And I like San Diego in that game against Walker Buehler anyways. So Pivetta is actually my second favorite pitcher. I think he's the one guy I made a core. Skubal can easily be a core SP on the slate, but Pivetta, and then like you sprinkle in Matthew Boyd, even though St. Louis doesn't strike all that much. The left-handed pitcher against them should be decent. Christopher Sanchez, somebody I'm definitely using all the time. Edward Cabrera, that Atlanta lineup has been pretty gross without Acuna. I am using Tanner Bybee, kind of the last-ditch effort. Like, I'm sick of mediocre performances.
Yeah.
But he gets a White Sox team that just struck out an absolute ton in a 3-game series against Seattle. So I'm going to go there and hope that he shows up. Hunter Brown sprinkle, but that one scares me. He's been pretty bad in the second half. Talked about it on the video today that I think he's kind of hit a bit of a wall. He is still a young arm. So I think all the innings are starting to add up. It is obviously a tougher matchup with Judge back with the Yankees, but
I'd say the lineup's gotten healthy.
There is some upside to him, so that's why. The biggest conundrum I have from pitching, I guess I left out Joe Ryan. I'm playing him. The Royals don't strike out a lot, but he's had success against them, so he's worth playing. The biggest conundrum for me is, what do you do with Zach Gallen? I haven't looked at updated ownership percentage. When I did the video this morning, I think he was the third highest projected owned pitcher.
Right now, it's showing him like Tariq is 46% and Zach is second at 17.5.
So he might have even been second when I recorded it this morning.
Yeah.
I just know it was up there in the upper teens. He's been bad much of the season. He's been bad against Colorado. He's been bad at home, which is weird because prior to this year, he's absolutely dominant at home. He's just been really bad. So, like, do I just blindly take him against Colorado, who we normally pick on? Or, for me, do I use a lot of Colorado bats? Because
I'm leaning
there are a couple guys I really like.
Using Colorado bats. I had to just double check. I was looking at some Sims runs, and it had Colorado at 5.14 and Arizona at 4.83. And I was like, that can't be the implied run total. And I looked in, like, Colorado's 2.98, but the Sims have them coming out at,
over 5.
Over 5.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, previous version of Zach Gallen, if you told me I could get him at 17% against one of the weakest offenses in baseball, I would have been gladly at 30%. This version of Zach Gallen, like, it makes me want to fade him or be at just 10%, almost cut the field in half.
Yeah.
Because it drives me nuts because like I've been one of his biggest fans in the DFS space the last number of years, and I don't know. Like I don't know what to expect. Colorado's obviously coming out of a homestand, so they do have a bunch of games in Coors under their belt, which is kind of inflating some of their recent metrics.
Yeah.
So then do they kind of come back down to earth? Maybe. But a couple of the guys still have hit Zach Gallen pretty well. Moniak, Ezekiel Tovar tore him up. Goodman, like they have guys that have done it against him. So, like the more I talk, the more I just want to remove him from my pool, and I just don't know if that's the right thing to do or not.
I think I might do like what you said with going like half the field, cut him in half.
Yeah, it's just the one where, like because we've seen his upside this season, even in a horrendous season against the Yankees and Mets, he went out there and absolutely dominated them. Now that's been 3.5 months since he did that, but still, like that domination is there and shows that he could drop 40 fantasy points, or 40 DraftKings points, probably like 60 on FanDuel. So it's there. And we've always wanted to pick on teams when they leave Coors. So, like, there's things that hit the boxes that we normally check, but there's also a bunch of things that hit the boxes that we, don't want to check in this spot. So I think my suggestion with Gallen is you just eat it and go super overweight and say, I'm putting my nuts on the table, or you fade, go super low on him, and include the Rockies as one of your top, 6 stacks or so on the slate.
Now, picking on teams that come out of Coors, that doesn't mean you're going to go with Clayton Kershaw tonight, does it?
I can't, just because Toronto doesn't strike out and Kershaw just doesn't have strikeouts anymore.
Yeah.
But I did temper my expectations with Toronto a little bit from a player pool standpoint because their recent trends include just ridiculous numbers in Coors.
Yeah. 45,
obviously
3 games or something.
They were a hot team before that, but when you put up 40-some runs and 60-some hits in a 3-game series, like all of your recent metrics are just going to be extremely weighted by that.
And there's going to be like extreme regression.
Yeah. So I don't expect Kershaw to be GPP worthy, but could we see Toronto fall back a little bit? Maybe. In past years, Toronto has actually been weak against left-handed pitching, despite being super right-hand heavy. Not necessarily the case this year, but they've also been relying on a lot more left-handed bats this year too. Yeah. Lucas, Laperfido, Varsho are all left-handed. Jimenez isn't in the lineup now, but Barger, another one. So they've been more left-handed than previous years. So, yeah, Kershaw's just a name that I couldn't do. I want to see him finish the season respectable. He doesn't have to be dominant. I just don't want to see him finish with a 5 ERA just as a baseball guy. But, yeah, he's just not a guy that we can trust in this spot.
Yeah. I know. It was painful to watch that game where he needed I can't remember if he needed 3 strikeouts or 1 strikeout. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that one was rough. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for pitching for me, at least. Andres, you get a double dose of me today on live shows. I don't know that I offered all that much for a geek show other than.
Well, it's hard to talk. I mean, he's right. Like Wednesday, I felt like I was just sitting there like scratching my face because it's his show and you're just kind of he's rolling. So. I
didn't want to join the same draft as him, since the show is now sponsored by DraftKings. I didn't want DraftKings to see us both in the same draft talking live. Both being DFS Army guys. I don't know. The optics don't look the greatest. Not that
I didn't join Monday
cheating or anything, so Otherwise, I would have. Like, it would have been fun to compete in that draft area, but just being on there to provide a different angle. Like, he and I didn't agree on some of the bad picks, but it's probably good. It doesn't really help people if they're getting the same takes from everybody that gets on the show. So,
well, a lot of time I think he just wants somebody to hang out and shoot the shit with. So.
Right.
Well, the Carnage Report's not doing us a shit ton of good the way it's laid out. So I have to make Chop give me a tutorial here soon.
Leverage stacks, obviously, not everybody can see everything just because of the alignment, but that's all right. You can kind of figure it out. Like stacking. My organization of stacks today was difficult to do, which you kind of expect with 28 teams on a slate.
Yeah.
And looking at total ownership from DraftKings on the leverage stack sheet, nobody's super chalky from a team standpoint. Highest owned team combined is 51%, which is 5.7% per player, right? So that's pretty much nothing. So you don't really have to worry about being chalky or not on this particular slate. One spot I do think you need to worry about is Cleveland is number 5 on the total ownership listing. Somebody needs to explain why, because Cleveland is ass. Is it just because they're playing the White Sox? I guess maybe, but I'm going to go out on my limb and give you guys a free team. Cleveland is not in my tiers at all. They weren't in consideration to be in my tiers from the beginning. Like, I think I wrote down 16 or 17 teams to break, my initial breakdown, and I'll tell you Cleveland was not in one of them.
What the?
I kind of went on. I'm not sure if you're live or not. I did go off on that one a little bit. Gallon traditionally at home has been phenomenal. Colorado, bad. And then coming out of they were 6 or 7 game homestand, so they've been in Coors for a week. So coming out of Coors to go play on the road generally is a place that we want to pick on them with pitching. But I'm with you. Gallon does not look right for much of the season, and some of the Colorado bats have actually hit him well. So I don't know. I'm definitely never matching the field on him, and I lean more towards going underweight or fully fading. But if you believe in picking on Colorado, I think you should go with 30% plus to gain the leverage, not just match that field number. There's a chance I end up removing them from my pool, to be honest. But getting into offenses, I guess we can figure out where my tiers fall.
Let's get somebody guessing here. I think I know who 2 probably should be.
Chuck, I'd lean Corbin Carroll. Otani's just always going to have better odds to hit a dinger than Corbin Carroll. But if I'm betting, I'll take the odds on Carroll. Otani.
Let's see. Ivan said the A's, Harlock, Arizona.
All right. So we got the A's. They are in tier 1. They're on the road in Baltimore. Spectacular hitting park. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed that the A's don't have J.J. Bleday with the way that he's been swinging it. They had been putting him at fourth. A little annoyed that they took him out and put in Cortez to lead off. But the A's in that ballpark, which is favored left-handed hitting, is just such a great spot with their lineup. Plus, then, Shea has been absolutely phenomenal of late. So you can add him to the left-handed bats to make a 5-man stack. It just jumps out to the top. Don Mullins is on the Mets. He's in the Mets lineup. He was traded by the Orioles to the Mets, if that's what you're asking. White Sox definitely not in tier 3. White Sox did not make my tier list. The D-backs, I guess we'll just kind of be more straightforward. The D-backs made tier 2. I wanted to put them in tier 1. I really did. But I went with a slightly lower owned team. Right now, Arizona is our chalkiest team, even though, like I mentioned, chalk doesn't matter on a 14-game slate. There isn't such thing as chalk.
Yeah.
Because, they're just not going to be totally owned. So, but Arizona fell into tier 2. They were my number 1 tier 2 team. I just I can nitpick a little bit and just say that if they were facing a right-handed pitcher from Colorado, they probably would have stayed in tier 1. It's the left-handed pitcher thing, even though Gomber's atrocious. Is the one thing. I've said it a lot in my pitching videos throughout the year. Left-handed pitching against Arizona is one of their weaknesses, especially now without Suarez. So that's probably just a small thing, but it's enough to keep them from tier 1 for me.
So far the A's are in tier 1. You said there's 3 teams?
There's 2 teams in tier 1.
Just 2?
There's actually 4 teams in tier 2, which is one more than normal. The Marlins were in consideration for tier 2 long. They just get squeezed out because I had a lot of teams that I liked in tier 2. And if I overweight tier 2, my percentages just go off the rails a bit. So I had to drop them to tier 3. But the Marlins were 100% very close to being a tier 2 team. Marcy, Stowers, and Augustin Ramirez, 3 bats that I really like.
What about, I'll throw a guess out. Because I see he said Dodgers tier 2. Detroit
is tier 1. They are the team that I slid up. Listen, we rarely have success stacking against Kyle Hendricks for some reason. But the fact that he's given up 18 home runs and 18 stolen bases on the season, that tells me that Detroit just has a huge ceiling in this spot. Home runs, stolen bases, etc. There's a chance for them to put up a lot of runs. And the Angels bullpen on the negative side is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So things kind of go right, then we have plenty of upside. So that's why I slid Detroit up to tier 1. Might not be the smartest move, but I wanted to be a little different at that other team.
They got plenty of pop.
I mean, they're 7th in total team ownership on DraftKings on our leverage stack. So it's not like I went super off the wall. It's just I think a lot of people would consider the A's, Arizona, the Dodgers,
even
Toronto,
Baltimore
ahead of them. So for me, it felt like the right move to slide them up.
So tier 1, we got Detroit and the A's.
Yep.
Tier 2 is I'm trying to remember. Miami, the Dodgers.
Arizona. Miami is in tier 3.
Okay.
The Dodgers are in tier 2. That one felt a little rough because I don't necessarily want to pick on Scherzer. But
we might get a wild hair with that going back to L.A.
Muncy and Ohtani and Freeman, left-handed bats, have started to heat up again. And so left-handed bats are the best way to attack Scherzer, and he does allow home runs. So I'm going with the Dodgers in tier 2. I almost moved them to tier 3, but we'll stick with them in tier 2.
Let's see if they can get in your other. You got more tier 2s. You got a couple
There's
more.
2 teams that are on tier 2 yet.
I think there's one that me and
One
you
should be obvious.
both stay shy from, but I bet they slid into tier 2 today.
Yeah, one of them should be obvious, and then the other one should kind of be obvious based on some of the conversation so far.
Yeah. Anybody got anything here? I'll start throwing some names out if not, because I think it could be the Padres.
Padres are in tier 3.
Tier 3.
I just
Cubbies.
can't trust them enough, but also there's just so many better teams.
Yeah.
There's so many teams that
yeah.
tier 2.
Same thing with me. It's a trust issue.
Yeah.
Now, the Cubs.
Cubs are in tier 3 as well.
Tier 3.
They've kind of been struggling a little too much.
Dare I say the Giants are tier 2?
No, I
didn't think
I almost never stack the Giants, and especially when they're at home.
Did you throw Colorado in tier 2?
Colorado is in tier 2. They did slide into tier 2. Moniak, Goodman, Beck, and Tovar. If a team has more than 3 guys that I really want to use, they really should be a tier 1 or tier 2 team. And Colorado has 4 guys that I really like in the spot. So then they might as well be a strong 5-man stack.
Well, I fully agree with that one. So does that leave one team we didn't get?
Yep. And I think everybody's just overlooking them.
I see somebody say Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's kind of on the edge. They're either my last tier 2 team or they're not part of it. My last spot has 2 teams listed, and I just don't know which one to go with right now. So I just don't like trusting Milwaukee. Again, I mean, Senga is a decent pitcher.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to stack against them. Plus, the Mets have really upgraded their bullpen as well. I don't know that I want a full stack Milwaukee.
The Phillies?
The Phillies are tied with Milwaukee in that last spot. I've gotten away from full stacking Philly for such a while now because it just really feels like it's Harper and Schwarber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trey Turner stands out because he's absolutely crushed against Merrill Kelly, but still, it's just a team that I feel better about mini stacks. And it's definitely not Seattle. I just don't like Seattle much right now. Not the best of matchups for them from a hitting standpoint. So Don is right. The last team in tier 2 is Toronto. If they had gone into Coors ice cold and then woke up in Coors, they most likely wouldn't even be in my top 12. But the fact that they went into Coors hot, stayed hot, I think there's a chance that they could come out of Coors and stay fairly warm from an offensive standpoint, the way that they're just performing. And also the fact that Kershaw doesn't dominate left-handed bats any longer. So more guys in that Toronto lineup could perform. Seattle's just been bad because Cal's been terrible. Naylor getting hurts them because now they have Solano playing first base in this matchup. Rosarena at leadoff, I don't think is the answer. Julio's fine, but I like Canzone the way that he's played, but Cole Young's weak enough. Suarez is striking out a ton with Seattle. There's just a lot of strikeouts going on with that offense.
And they're so pricey.
Right, and they're expensive. One team that I wanted to – Baltimore is one team that I felt bad dropping from tier 2 to tier 3. It's just once I started looking at their lineup and after they traded away guys, Tyler O'Neill, Hauser on the IL today.
Laureano traded away.
Yeah, like I only really want to play like Gunnar and then Adley or maybe Holiday, even though Holiday's kind of struggled.
Really, Gunnar is like for a 14-game slate, like the second chalkiest guy,
which is weird. Adley's my favorite Oriole bat in this spot. But so I just ended up moving them down. When I first looked at the slate, I thought for sure they were going to be almost tier 1. Like I thought both teams in this game would make tier 1, but then as you add more teams in, like they just kept dropping. The other team that I debated moving up to tier 2 was Houston, actually.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had any interest.
Yeah, I do like Houston's matchup. Some of the splits really fell in their favor in the matchup. Obviously, it's Yankee Stadium. It kind of might hinder their right-handed bats a little bit. You know, like some of their boosts for their righties come from playing in Houston. But Schlittler is a guy that I talked about on the video this morning. I am convinced that at some point over the next month and a half, he is going to have a game where he walks 0 and strikes out 10. Like he's so close. He racks up pitch count. He walks guys, but he also strikes guys out. So there's going to be a game when all that clicks, and instead of walking 3, 4, like all those are going to turn to strikeouts, and he's going to strike out 10 or 11. I don't think it's this spot because the Astros have been such a patient offense. Top 2 or 3 in hitting from an offense, maybe not a power standpoint, but just in pure batting average and getting on base. I think it's a spot that Houston could see a lot of base runners, and base runners in that ballpark can lead to 2 and 3 run home runs fairly quickly. So yeah. I don't love stacking Houston most of the time, but like in this spot, it just felt right. Like Schlittler's been worse against left-handed bats, and Houston doesn't really have those, which is the frustrating part. But he hasn't been dominating against right-handed bats either.
So if you were going to build one lineup, the throw in, single entry, higher dollar, lower in, whatever. But is it like Skubal and the A's and then figure it out?
It's probably Skubal, Detroit bats
and figure it out.
With like an A's one-off.
See if you can get Shea in there.
Yeah, I mean, especially with a Detroit main stack, yeah, like Shea would fit. Because in a Detroit main stack, I want Torkelson. Yeah. So, like, I can't use Nick Kurtz. I want Kerry Carpenter. I want Wenzel Perez. Zach McKinstry, who multiple positions. So, yeah, like Shea would fit that with Skubal. The problem is like Shea might still be a little too expensive. So then now you're probably going with Skubal and then like who am I thinking here?
Yeah, Shea's 5,200.
Like Edward Cabrera as SB2 or something. Luis Castillo maybe. Like it's going to be really tough to get Pavetta then too.
Yeah.
But there are cheaper options as one-off.
Like a Lugo or like you said, Castillo.
Like Lugo didn't make my pool. I did hand build one lineup with Lugo. The Twins haven't been striking out, even though the lineup looks atrocious. So I'm fading Lugo in my MME, but there are enough one-offs that you can make things work. Like Robert Hassel for the Nationals pointed out, I think in my notes, that he's just 2,200. He's racking up extra base hits right now, and now he's playing in San Francisco, which to right center is just a massive triples alley, and he's a left-handed bat in that ballpark against a right-handed pitcher. I think he has like 4 doubles and a home run over the last 5 or 6 games. He keeps that same swing, that double swing. Those turn into triples in this ballpark. So at 2,200, like he's kind of an ideal one-off. Jacob Marcy for the Marlins has been on fire, and he's still just 2,900 on DK. Another cheap one-off guy that would work around, expensive pitching combinations.
What about, would you feel safe with Tanner Beebe?
I don't feel safe with him just because he's let me down too much. Like, I'd definitely rather just go up to Edward Cabrera, 600 more. I guess in that instance, like, I might consider including Drew Rasmussen, but I just don't like the fact that he's capped so much. Yeah. But I think his floor is higher because of the strikeout upside.
Herberto Hernandez at 2,800, get you a cheap piece of that Miami offense.
Yeah, it's big power for him. So he definitely fits. Miami has 5 guys outfield eligible on DK in their lineup.
Mars, 2,900.
Steve Stowers, Hernandez, and then they got Dane Myers and Troy Johnston, who's playing first. But all are outfield only eligible. So that makes stacking Miami really, really weird.
Yeah. And it might be good for like a one-off in that stack just to get you a little salary.
Yeah, I mean, Marcy's one of my favorites. Just he's been so hot.
I think he's 2,900 or something.
Yeah, sub 3K. Just fits so well. Like his matchup is just better than Dominic Canzone, even though I like Canzone at the same price. Cortez leading off. Like the one of the most popular guys down here is going to be Carlos Cortez leading off for the A's at 2,500. But I really do like the Miami guys. Robert Hassel again, like I mentioned. Even Brooks Baldwin at 2,100. He's hitting 9th, which is annoying, and he's on the White Sox. But he has 7+ DK points in 4 out of his last 5 games. Decent little punt option, but he's still far behind some of those other guys.
I don't know a lot about this guy, and about everybody, so I trust that you do. But I was thinking about that Shea mini stack. What about this Daryl Herrera batting 6th for the A's, third base shortstop, 3,000?
Darnell Hernandez.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't know about him. Do you know who drafted him or who he came up with?
I guess the Orioles must have.
The Orioles. He was traded a year and a half ago to the A's. He was a riser within the Orioles organization over the previous year. Definitely talented. Obviously, some strong games recently. 4 hits, 3 walks over his last 3 games, a couple of extra base hits. I like him quite a bit. Third base is a pretty weak position overall. So, he makes a ton of sense as a value option. So does Blaze Alexander, to name a random dude. But, third base is a tough one to find value. So, Hernandez is one of the guys that I want to utilize more. And I'm going to end up with a decent chunk just because the A's are my top stack.
Glaber's not bad. That's 4,400 for a Detroit bat to get in there. So
yeah, and I should like him a little bit more, especially because right-handed bats have a little bit more success against Hendricks. I also just wanted some of the guys that could steal more bases, so that's why McKinstry made it in.
Yeah.
Wenzel Perez. But yeah, I mean, Glaber's going to fit. Second base has got Luke Keyshaw at 2,900, who's just done nothing but hit at the major league level. Even after coming back from breaking his forearm, he just keeps hitting for the Twins, and he's hitting 5th today. So there's plenty of value out there to make, an A stack with Scooble work. You might have to force yourself off of a 5-2 build and go 5-1-1-1 to do it. But I'm not against doing that, even though I my run is going to be all 5-2s. Like,
and especially in a single entry or something like that. I mean,
right.
I mean,
single entry, I think I'd be a lot more inclined to go 5-1-1-1.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Like a couple years ago when I won the 50K, it was a 4-2-1-1 stat. Like,
yeah.
Great.
I mean, we go at 5-2 and stuff because that's what normally does it.
Normal, yeah. It like you have to have a gut feeling or an understanding of how the slate breaks down and how a team is going to perform. Like I've said it for years that not every team, and this is why I don't main stack every team, is most stacks or most teams on a given slate can't support a full 5-man.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have enough gas to get there. Pretty much every team can get a 2 or 3-man stack home.
Yeah.
So like when I hand built that 4-2 build, like I just didn't think the Brewers could survive a 5-man stack in that matchup. So I went with a 4-man, and it paid off. 4-man Brewers, 2-man Reds. Brian Hayes and Chas McCormick as one-offs. Both those guys homered because they're in great BVP spots too. Like,
yeah.
There's one of those spots where like Brian Hayes of all people had to hit like 3 or 4 home runs off the pitcher.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They both homered, and then that Brewers Reds game was a stolen base fest.
Let's see. It's about 6:15. You want to just talk about some home run calls and get out of here on Friday and let everybody build some lineups. Let us build some lineups.
That sounds good to me. Max, Scooble, and then Houston, Miami is intriguing because you get to jam in Houston in the infield, right? Like, aside from Jesus Sanchez, maybe, like your 5-man Houston stack really could be Yainer Diaz, Christian Walker, Altuve, Pena, and Correa across the infield. And then you could jam in 2 or 3 Miami outfielders who we talked about liking. And that fits with Scooble. Like on some slates, teams just match up perfectly from a positional standpoint. So that Houston-Miami combination would kind of line up perfectly. A parlay for pitchers that I can take to get 5K, like $5,000 or 5 strikeouts. I don't really look at parlays that pay an exorbitant amount of money because they're like kind of outside of my expectations of actually happening. So like winning $5,000 on a parlay isn't really something that I look into. Like for me to get there, it'd probably be I have to really ladder strikeouts and hope that he hits the entire ladder. 5 strikeouts. Like each pitcher gets 5 strikeouts. Like the problem is Scooble's odds have to be just ridiculously low. Like
they got to be
not even worth
1,000. Probably.
Right.
I mean, 8 is what, minus 400? I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, like pitcher combination of guys like Edward Cabrera, Joe Ryan, Christopher Sanchez, Drew Rasmussen, like could be one that the odds might not bone you a whole lot on, just because like the Vegas odds for Rasmussen probably are somewhat limited because they expect his pitch count to be somewhat limited. So like it negates the positive K matchup against Seattle a little bit from the books side of things. So I think Drew Rasmussen probably somebody that makes sense. Edward Cabrera is just a guy that I like his just natural arm talent and ability. And then I think Joe Ryan, Christopher Sanchez are guys that probably get there. I mean, you can obviously use Woodruff, even though I don't love it. Like Hunter Brown, easily. Pavetta is one of my favorite guys. The problem is when you when you want to parlay multiple pitchers for strikeouts, like your natural instinct is to go to the high strikeout guys, right? Problem is like you're losing so much value in odds because all those guys have K props that are like 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. So you almost have to take a risk with somebody that has a K prop of 3.5 or 4.5 to make it worth it. So I like living in the kind of the mid range in that to get, 5Ks. Combination of a guy that does 4.5 and then one with 5.5 or something. Max, I'm not sure that
Adele had a double dong.
I'm not sure that Adele is going to make contact twice tonight. The problem. I mean, it's possible, but I think.
I mean, it's baseball. Anything can fucking happen. But
right, but I feel like recently the only time he has made contact has been for a home run. Thought I looked at his recent numbers. Yeah, over the last 6 games, he has 3 hits. 2 of them are home runs. I mean, he's definitely somebody that could work. Like, I mean, that's the one thing is Screwball can give up home runs. And a lot of people think that dominant pitchers don't give up home runs. It's actually the opposite. They give up home runs. They just don't give up a lot of
fucking hard.
So, like, when Max Scherzer was at his elite, he still gave up like 25 home runs a year or so, but they were just always solo home runs. Like, they limit everything because, like, big strikeout pitchers, they pitch up in the zone. So sometimes they make a mistake and those pitches up in the zone just end up home runs. But yeah, I mean, I guess if anybody's going to hit a home run off a Screwball, like Adele and Taylor Ward are the most likely since they're the best from a power standpoint against left-handed pitching for the Angels. But you just won't see me betting on somebody from the Angels to hit a home run, even though I'm not going to be shocked if Screwball gives up a home run. I just don't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
I think the last time they faced him, Neto got him for a home run, but they have a battle. Like, the first time they faced him this year, like, that was when, like, Neto struck out and was talking shit walking back to the dugout.
Oh, yeah.
All went walking towards the dugout, and yeah, like there's a thing going on between those two. But low and cheap pitchers, Savali is one. Savali's an arm that I actually considered initially. His last 3 starts have been phenomenal, but I don't know if I want to chase those, considering he has 20 strikeouts over those 3 starts. And if you take away those 3 starts, his other 11 starts, he has a combined 36 strikeouts. So, like, I just don't think those numbers continue, even though I'm not afraid of Cleveland's offense. Like, so I can understand the desire or the intrigue to using Savali. He just didn't make my pool because I just don't think he has the K upside to be in the winning lineup on a 14-game slate is what it comes down to. And that's really the big thing that makes my pitcher pool decisions is once I do my research, I look at each of these guys. And if I just don't think they have the ability to score enough raw points, that I just can't use them, especially on large slates. Like those 3 and 4 game slates, you can get away with guys like that, right? Like you can play him, you can get his 13 points on average or whatever and be okay unless 2 pitchers go absolutely crazy. On a 14-game slate, I just don't think you can accept 13 to 14. Like Xander has heated up. He's had some plus BVP matchups recently that I remember. And I think he's definitely in play tonight too. Like, I'm not against using him.
But did we ever get confirmation on Tatis?
He's in. He's leading off.
Good, that's kind of a decent BVP there.
It is, but he also he's hit 2 home runs since the end of May.
Whew.
Since May 27th, he's hit 2 home runs.
Man, that's crazy.
That doesn't lend itself to being a great play. I mean, he hasn't stolen a base over his last 10 games either. He actually hasn't stolen a base in 20 days, 21 days. So, he just.
No, we don't like Gallen.
There's something up with Tatis, really, is what I'm trying to say. Don, the more I talk through it, the more I want to fade him. I actually like some Colorado bats, which famous last words probably, but the more that I think about it on a 14-game slate, I just don't think I need to gamble with Zach Gallen at this point.
No. All right. How about some
Max? There are some wins. It's not super strong. 7 to 12 miles an hour. There are a number of them that are blowing out lightly. The biggest thing is a lot of these ballparks neutralize winds. So if you see wind in San Francisco, understand that basically has zero effect on the baseball. The way that they built that ballpark is those winds do nothing. So the wind is almost always blowing out in San Francisco, and yet that's one of the worst ballparks to hit home runs in. Some ballparks, Wrigley, the AAA ballparks for Tampa Bay and the A's, they're affected by far more of the wind variety. Kansas City's going to be warm. Across the field probably negates some of it. The biggest thing when you see across the field, though, there's a chance for that to really technically be blowing in for part of it. And if that's the case, that's going to hinder it a lot more.
All right. Well, you want to throw some homers out there?
Yeah, I mean, the Diamondback combo of Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll, two BVP numbers that are just ridiculous. So it's impossible for me to ignore them. Mickey Moniak in that same game, BVP numbers are strong as well. Some of the other guys I considered for some of the stuff that I do, Matt Wallner against Lugo.
Wallner was one of mine.
I really like Trevor Larnach, but he's not in the lineup. Trying to get back to some of my notes here.
I have an off the wall one for you, maybe. Colson Montgomery.
God, he's been so cold with strikeouts, but if he puts the ball in play, there's upside for that for sure. Off the wall one, Ivan Herrera for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah,
absolutely destroyed left-handed pitchers so far this year. An OPS of 1,300 against them.
We have an Ivan Herrera on staff too.
Is that what his last name is?
Yeah. The other day he messaged me, and then above it, I got the home run alert, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I said, "Damn, you're multitasking, ain't you? Hitting the home run and texting me."
Right. Max Muncy stands out.
Soderblom, Soderstrom.
Soderstrom definitely. Shea Langeliers, Ezekiel Tovar. This is, to be honest, this is a great slate for home runs.
Oh yeah, everything's
The more I looked at everything, both BVP, recent trends, just overall matchups, feels like there's going to be a number of home runs hit tonight.
All right, I'm going to give you a really crazy one. Dane Myers.
I feel like I only like him to homer against left-handed pitching, though.
Well, he's great versus lefties. He sucks versus righties.
Right,
but Elder sucks. But
he does. Elder does suck. I could just I could fire name after name on my list.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't throw shit. I'd probably throw $5 on Myers just for giggles, you know.
I mean, Luke Keeshaw's been phenomenal. Christian Walker, ISO of 435 over the last week. Trevor Story, strong against Pavetta. I mean,
you know, ironically, Joe Adele is listed in the outlier odds who have a more favorable than the book consensus.
Oh, really?
They haven't. I mean, but with that, he's still at plus 652, which I think he's 775, like at MGM or something like that. You know?
Yeah, it's still not going to get. I mean, Adele's plus 500 on DK. I just looked.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I
mean, like, yeah, he's probably somebody I would, for giggles, throw a couple bucks to hit a home run on and just, you know, not fuck with the Angels. You know,
like if you're gonna take an Angel on DK, take Taylor Ward as plus 600. He's been their best hitter against left-handed pitching, and his odds are better for you than Adele and Trout. But and
I think
I still don't think plus 600 is high enough.
Yeah, so it's like the four-seamer like 35% of the time, and I think Adele like has like an F grade against the four-seamer. So
yeah, it doesn't sound like a great matchup at all.
No,
Don, I mean, we could get to 300. Generally, when there's a lot of home runs hit, though, I don't necessarily think that it's lineup builds get super high because it's not necessarily stack worthy that gets there. You know, when we've gotten there recently, that was because there were multiple games that had teams score 16 runs and have like 25 hits each. So, like, you need a lot of hits to be able to get to 300 fantasy points.
If they get to 300, I'm going to quit playing fantasy.
I will say that I do think that winning lineups tonight could have 2 or 3 guys with double dong. Could be guys that are better as one-offs, you know, most likely, but still, like I do think their winning lineups have multiple guys with double dong performances tonight, just based on the way I felt about the slate all day as I dug in more and more. And with doing that NFL live show with Geek today, it allowed me to break up my day. So, like, I started the afternoon research kind of with a clean slate, and everything just pointed to everything that I saw in the morning. So, like, you know, usually when you break things up, like, you get realizations and stuff. But today it just all pointed to the same thing. So I expect there to be home runs hit, runs scored, etc. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, I think.
Yeah, that's all I got. 6:30, probably need to get to building some lineups. So.
Yeah, I'm going to need to get running the DS here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Monday should be Chop and Raz back with you. So helmets up and, you know, let's go win it. Thanks, guys.